This is the exact method that allowed me to build a 7-figure personal shopping business. Personal shoppers and luxury fashion boutiques do not want you to know these 4 different strategies on how they make money on the largest brands in the world, such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, Chrome Hearts, etc, etc. I'm going to be breaking down the 4 different methods of how you can make money on luxury brands right now. Number 1, we have a commission-only basis structure. How does a commission basis work when shopping for clients who are looking to buy the world's largest fashion brand? Let's take Julie as an example. And Julie is our client. Julie has come and said to us, I'm looking for a pair of Louis Vuitton skate trainers. Now, the retail price from Louis Vuitton Direct on these Louis Vuitton skate trainers is £1,050. Julie has not chose the colorway that she's looking for. She doesn't even know a size, and she doesn't even know how the shoe fit. Little does Julie know that the shoes actually fit bigger, and she needs to take 1 size down to facilitate her foot size. And we have consulted her and we've gave her that advice, and we've let Julie know proactively that we charge a 10% commission fee for procuring and styling her request, meaning that we'll take care of the different options, we'll take care of the colorways, we'll give her the advice that she needs for purchasing that product, but in return, we need a 10% commission. So Julie turns around and says, I really like the navy pair. So me as a personal shopper who's working on the commission-only structure as a source of revenue, I'm gonna say, no problem. Here are the 4 different colorways that are available. Here is a styling catalog that we'd like to present to you. Please let us know which colorway is your favorite, and we will process the order accordingly. What I would then do is, after Julie's confirmed that she would like that specific pair of trainers, is invoice the client with my 10% commission added on to the £1,050, meaning that Julie is getting charged roughly, at the top of my head, it's about £100 extra, a little bit more. Let's call it 1,150. That leaves me with a net profit of around £100. Now, a lot of the time, the shoes will be sold out in Louis Vuitton Direct because they have strict allocation with how much they have in stock. Another thing is that Julie just wants a simple concierge service so that she doesn't have to wait, speak to someone in the store, go out to the shop herself, go through all the process online of checking if they're in stock or where she can buy them. She just simply wants a simple A to Z process where you sit in between here and help her style and procure her request of the LV sneakers. Now, the next strategy of how personal shoppers and luxury retailers make money from their clients is on a source on request basis. Source on request. Source on request is very, very similar to the commission-only structure. However, the only difference is that this time you're working and bridging relationships to your advantage. So let's take the same example with Julie as a client on the same request for the pair of LV skates. Now, a commission-only structure is where you'd start as a beginner. You don't have a supply chain to give you access to these goods below the retail price, and you simply will have to charge that additional fee to make your money. However, the source on request strategy is a little bit different because what we're doing in this case scenario is we're leveraging a supply chain of vendors who are going to facilitate this request for the LV skates. Now, what does the supply chain look like? How it works in the luxury market with high-end luxury designer boutiques for brands like Hermès, Goyard, you know the list, is that we all work in WhatsApp communities. And how it works is that when we have a client who has requested a specific product, we will go to our supply chain and we will state that we need a pair of size 7 Louis Vuitton skate, and we will use the term WTB, which means want to buy. And what this will do is it will alert all of our vendors in our WhatsApp community and supply chain of this request, and anybody who has these shoes in hand, and the chances are very, very high because there's over £50 million worth of inventory within this section, they will get back to us with a price and a quote of the goods. And the chances are they have bought them below the retail price, whether they've bought them in another country and the exchange rates benefited them, whether or not they've done the European buying strategy, which I'm not going to speak on today, but that's another method of how you can buy these items below the retail price. There's loads of different options. And as well as that, if these personal shoppers in this community and in the supply chain don't have the product, they will be able to speak to someone in a boutique or another supplier to get access to them to sell them you below the retail price. Meaning that if your cost price for Julie is now £900, you can then charge Julie £1,000, meaning you're going to make £100 in profit and simultaneously save the client their money. And the greatest thing about it is that if these shoes are out of stock, there's no need for you to charge £1,000. Just like in the example above with the commission-only structure, you could actually charge your client £1,250. if you are selling a product that is out of stock. And luxury retail stores and brands directly will have end-of-line products. A lot of the time, Louis Vuitton skates sell out. There's certain models and certain colorways that have not been available for over 2 years now, and clients are still requesting because they want that exclusive touch point. They want to wear things that nobody else has got in the market. If we look at the scene in Wolf of Wall Street where the guy says, sell me this pen. And he says, well, do you need to write down anything? Like, try and write your name in the book. And he says, well, I haven't got a pen. Supply and demand. And this is the whole point of what I'm getting at. We're now going to be going into the other two methods of how these luxury designer boutiques make money on their customers. And to summarize what the difference is between the commission-only structure and the source and request model, commission-only structure is you are putting a commission fee on top of the retail price, which in my opinion is not the best way forward, because the customers are always going to have that objection of saying, well, can I not just buy it myself from the retail store? In contrast, the source on request method is completely different. We're simply putting a request into all the suppliers that we work with, leveraging that £50 million worth of valuation of stock, requesting what our vendors have, and 99% of the time, we're able to fulfill the product that our customers requested, and we're able to offer it at either a below market value price or below the retail price, meaning that the customer has the value exchange. This is the exact method that allowed me to build a 7-figure personal shopping business, selling to our customers every single day to fulfill their requests. For example, you have James who wants this Moncler jacket. The retail price on the Moncler jacket is £1,200. Because of our commercial partnerships and discounts that we get with different authorized retailers, we're able to buy this for a cost price of £800, saving us as a retailer £400. And that gap in between the cost price and the sale price to the customer is our profit margin. And the only difference is we want to save the customer that little bit of money. So what do? We take the payment up front for £1,000. Our cost is £800, send the £800 to the supplier, and we keep the profit in between, and the customer also saves £200. Now, what are the next two approaches that designer boutiques and personal shoppers use to make money on their client? And it all comes down under the window of reselling. Within reselling, you also have wholesale. Reselling is when we buy a product for £100 and we resell it for £200. Would I advise going down the route as a personal shopper or a luxury boutique of reselling? No, I wouldn't. Why? Let's say, for example, the average item in the luxury market from brands like Louis Vuitton, Dior, Hermès is £500 on average. In order for you to have 10 pieces of item in stock with no guarantee of turning the products over, it would mean that you'd have to spend £5,000 in stock. Tell me what guarantee you have in being able to turn this stock over into a profit just to make 20%. 20% of 5,000 is £1,000 in profit. But what if it takes you 60 days just to break even? You can't afford to take that risk. It's such an early start point. So what I always say is do not start by investing into stock, and instead arbitrage and leverage supplier stock in the market. For example, if you know a supplier has 100 pairs of Asics trainers for £100 and they're sold out and the retail price is 150, sell them for 180. Like, you know that vendor has the product, use their content, use their photos and market the product. Just like, for example, you go into a local boutique in your local town to find somebody who has a good pool of stock. Say you go into this shop in your local town, you speak to the shop owner and you say to them, look, I'm looking to get into reselling and personal shopping. Can I take a few photos of your products? And if I have any clients that nibble at the items, can you just let me know the cost price and the best possible price you can do me on that item so I can add my profit margin onto it? So in contrast, you also have wholesale, where you're spending 10, 20, 30,000 pounds just to buy a deal to make this same margin. Would I advise doing wholesale? Again, no, because there's no guarantee of you turning over the stock. And if you're left with the inventory, that also puts your business in a detrimental position from a cash flow perspective. Now, the trickiest part is that a lot of these retailers within the luxury market, such as Selfridges, Flannels, Harvey Nichols, Harrods, Louis Vuitton, all of these authorized retailers require a minimum order quantity in order for you to work with them. So for you to even get in the door as a personal shopper, you need to be spending tens of thousands of pounds just to even get a discount off with these companies. Not to mention the cost of you even investing into wholesale just to get your foot into the door. So how does our business differentiate? How does it work within our company? We have built and met these minimum spends for the last 5 years. meaning that we have the connections, we have the supply. The only thing that you need to focus on is the marketing and acquiring the client. And as a new personal shopper, do you really want to have to spend 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 pounds on wholesale just to get your foot in the door? To have that risk of not being able to turn over the inventory? To have the risk of your cash being stuck in these items for weeks on end? Or do you want to play it risk-free? And do you want to work on the source on request model? Do you want to make it so that you get items and you get the photos of the products and market it to your customers and take the payment up front and be a broker? Would you prefer to be an Uber, or would you prefer to be a B&Q? B&Q are buying thousands of materials, thousands of items every single week with no guarantee of even selling them. However, Uber have pretty much just bridged the gap with taxi drivers, connected them with their app, and took a commission in between every sale from their customers. The choice is yours. I've told you the 4 different methods of how these retail stores make money and how personal shoppers take advantage from these strategies. And you've got to weigh up the option. Do I want to risk investing all this money into wholesale, investing into meeting these minimum spends with these authorized retailers? Or would you prefer to just work with a company like us that allows you to get access to all of this product for the same price, but without meeting these minimum spends? We don't take any commissions. We give you 30 days one-on-one support to help you get your business into the right position. We help you with your social media accounts and your creative strategy. We give you access to the content so that you don't even need to buy any product yourself. You can just use ours. And we almost act as that parent, giving you the support and not letting you make the mistakes that we made. We had a warehouse with over £1 million worth of stock, and guess what happened? It got robbed. So for anyone who's serious about starting a personal shopping business, selling luxury designer brands, I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this YouTube video. Book a call with myself. I'd love to connect with you guys and see if we can even set something up with you. Peace out, and thank you for watching.